Right. Right. So now that it does work, decided to start pulling off the bags and try to start getting off the rougher stuff and clean it up, and removing the tour pack and trying to slim this one down. I think we decided to do the FXR kind of look on this one, since it's got the wide glide front end. I got a quarter fairing coming in, and just kind of clean it up and do some things with it and try some stuff that really hasn't been done before. So it's really stripped down right now, but took it down the road, a little ride on them, went through a bunch of curves, did some speed runs on it, went through some figure eights, high speed and slow speed, and just kind of letting it do its thing, and it felt really good. I mean, it turns quickly because it feels like a 21, but overall it did pretty good. So now I just gotta finish bolting up the stuff I've got for it, and got another wiring harness, trim it down, so see where we're at. So I put the 3-inch lowering kit on there, and this thing is lowered down pretty good in the rear. It was pretty good with the bags back on there. All right, guys, and a few more things here. This is a nice little Arlen Ness. It's called the 10 gauge is what they call it, but it's a cool looking piece. Gets rid of the 80s looking foam piece there. Looks pretty nice. It adds chrome. I've got a little chrome extension coming in that fills in that gap for the shorter seat. All right, guys, I also did this gauge holder here. This is a Harley piece, and I think it's for a sporty, but it fits this perfectly. And then the light fits in here, so the indicator's in there. And I did the oil gauge and the fuel gauge, and I've got to come up with something to make those fit just a little bit better. And then I've got another one that's going to come off the bottom with another 2-inch gauge. That'll be a small speedo. I got a decoded digital little 2-inch gauge I'm thinking about putting in there. Then I also put these bars on, and these are super wide bars, but these are for the fairing, the full batwing fairing. These kick up and around it, and we normally kick up fairly high. I think these are 13-inch bars, and these are the fat bars, so they come up to the 1.25 inches, and they look pretty wild on there. So I also did the LED lights on here. So these are the 41 millimeter forks on here, and these kind of just mount up on there. I found these online pretty cheap, so I wired those in, and I used the stock harness here and just wired those in, but I removed the pins for the lights that I didn't need, so I didn't have empty wires sitting there. And I'm going to either clean up, this is a different group of wires, I'll either clean these up and pull out some wires, but I've actually got a couple different fairings I'm going to try on there and see how that looks. So we'll see what happens with that. And right now I've got the rear of this Corbin on there, so you can actually pull this off and use it however you want to. So there's a few different pieces I'm going to be switching back and forth on the bikes. So, but I think it'll look pretty good once it's all done. All right, guys, so I got the EFI race fueler from Harley. This is a Screaming Eagle part. That's the part number. This is for an 04 model. So that's the way everything's gonna hook up. So 01 to 05 is this one, and then there's an 06 one for 06, and I think then some other ones. But this is it. This is what it comes with. It comes with some zip ties, double-sided tape, and a wire in there. You've got for the ground, and then this is actually it right here. And you've got a couple different potentiometers in there, so you can fully adjust the fuel going into the bike. So this one already has some slip-on exhaust on it, and I'm going to do a Screaming Eagle intake on there from the other bike, because I've got a different intake for it. And this one's all plug and play. Just kind of clips on. It's pretty much the same idea, except for it uses potentiometers, but the same idea of the CRF that I did over there. So pretty much just like that. All right, guys, got it over here at the bike, and this is the connections right there for the front rear cylinder. I went ahead and took out the rear bolt for the tank, and then just loosened up the front one so I can lift it up a little bit. Get a little bit more room in here, but I got to get in there to those injectors. That one back there, and then another one on the other side. Get that little wire clip pushed in, and then it will free itself up. So just like on these, you can see that's the lock, and it kind of pushes the lock out of the way by just pushing that and unlocking them. And then just follow kind of the wires on there, get that hooked up, and I'm gonna route the wire up and onto the frame, and then bring it down through here like these wires, and then mount it somewhere in here. And it says to make sure the wires mount down, and there's Velcro so you can pull it off. All right, guys, I actually supported this with a old Amsoil bottle. Actually lifted it up pretty good to get in here. So the front cylinder on this bike, the colors are a little bit different than what the instructions say, but the yellow lead essentially connects to the white and yellow, or gray and yellow, and then the greens connect to the green wires on that plug. All right, guys, got all the connectors connected in here. Pretty simple. The ones on the injectors were a little tough to get off, but they've been on there for a while. That's a pretty simple thing. And then, like I said, I rounded the wire up and over and then down through here. Now I just got to mount the fueler itself in there, and then I can start adjusting on it. All right, guys, I got it hooked up down there. Flip the switch on. You see it come to life, and it's ready to be set. So now I gotta figure out how to set it. It does seem to be working. Get the ground hooked up here. Everything seems good for so far. Reconnect these and be good. All right, guys, back over here at the shop, and got a few more pieces to put on, and been working on playing with the tune on this a little bit, but I went ahead and grabbed the Screaming Eagle air cleaner off of the other bike, because I got a different air cleaner gonna go on there. And for the cover, this is one of the parts you can get through our website, HiRevzgarage.com. But this is just a milled cover. I'm hoping I can make bolt up right there. I think that looks pretty good. So let's see how that looks. All right, guys, there's that. That looks pretty dang good. And I did have to source another bolt in there, get a little bit longer one. You know, wipe it down and clean it up, but that looks a lot better than the factory one. All right, guys, I went ahead and put this piece on right here. It's a little dash extension for the shorter nose seat, kind of cover up those wires. And it was not an easy task at all. The bolt was too long, so I had to trim it off. And this piece does not contour correctly, so I had to trim it down on each side and then just kind of touch it up with some silver paint. I mean, it'll be fine, it'll look okay, but it'd be nice if it would actually fit correctly, but it's probably asking too much. Anyways. All right, guys, make sure you check out the website. We've added thousands and thousands of awesome motorcycle parts. We've got apparel on there. We've got extended front forks, fenders, frames, anything you can think of. Check it out.